Thanks a lot for driving in from Indiana.
Oh, no problem, man. I saw that this was going to go on, so.
Yeah.
I'm a geek in training, is what my wife says.
Okay.
Because I put a computer in my truck, and now I think I'm like this big computer guy. And
Yeah.
really, I'm dumber than hell about it, but it's really cool. So I was like, oh, I'll go here, and I'll realize how stupid I really am.
So tell us about what you did at Pimp My Ride. What was your role there?
I'm the fabricator.
Okay.
Basically, all the audio, video, fiberglass work, everything electronic.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I built. Mad Mike was the electronics guy. He did all the basically wiring.
Okay.
He would figure up, the crazy relays. He did a lot of the computer softwares. He thought of a lot of circuitry.
Okay.
Mike's background, he was in the Air Force.
Okay.
He was a mechanic, I believe, on jets.
Mm-hmm.
He did a lot of electronics in the Air Force, so that's where.
And what was your background before you did?
Before Pimp My Ride, I was on Rock the Boat.
Okay.
Before Rock the Boat, I was ranked one of the top fabricators in the country for quite a few years.
Mm-hmm.
I did installer challenges where I'd build a car in 48 hours in front of 30,000 people.
Right.
And
That must have been good training for the.
Oh yeah, in the parking lot at SEMA.
Okay.
My first one was, I think I was 24 years old. I was on the East Coast team against the West Coast team.
Yeah. So SEMA's, like, for those of you who don't know, it's got a couple 100,000 people, and so it's always.
Yeah, and it's pretty fun to be thrown into that mix because none of us knew each other. It was just 5 guys on each team that had no idea who each other was. They gave us identical cars,
so no
identical
planning
products,
whatsoever for that.
nothing. Identical products, identical car, and they said you have 48 hours to go. And we just sat there and built a car in the parking lot in front of everybody.
Wow.
And that was so much fun. So then I did another one at the LA Boat Show, which led to the TV show Rock the Boat.
Oh wow. Okay.
Because I built a boat in the Staples Center in the lobby.
And in 48 hours.
Yeah, 48 hours.
So when you say you built a boat, you had fiberglass, or
Yeah, I ripped the boat down, fiberglass.
So all you had was fiberglass, and then you had to.
Yeah, they just gave me a 5-gallon jug of fiberglass, some chop mats, some power tools, a little bit of wood, a router outside the Staples Center. I'm out there routering on the sidewalk. It was pretty cool at 3 in the morning. I got the bums coming up. I'm giving them a buck. I'm routering a ring.
Right.
It was pretty interesting.
So tell us about how a typical Pimp My Ride show would work. How do you get all these teams of people to? Well, what's it start out with? Do they just throw you a car, or do you have any pick in which?
No, we have no idea what's coming.
So the producer
Absolutely
just picks it and says, "All right."
The producers and on Pimp My Ride, what's weird about it is every episode has a different producer. There isn't one producer for Pimp My Ride.
Okay.
There's like 20.
Okay.
So every
That's a lot of
episode,
bosses.
every episode is a different team.
Uh-huh.
So you got a producer, his camera guy, his sound guy, his grips, and then in 2 weeks, the next episode is going to be done by this producer with his sound guy, because that was their way of keeping it fresh.
Okay.
It never got stale. That's why every episode was kind of different.
Yeah.
Because you have different perspectives, and you can tell the difference if you really watch them back to back to back. You'll notice huge differences between producers.
Uh-huh.
Some love the car audio.
Okay.
Some don't. So you
Yeah.
never see it. Some love the electronics. Some like paint. You'll notice by how much is filmed.
Right.
So it's
So producer picks a car, you get the car, and then how much planning do you guys? Because you've got all these different crews. You got an upholstery crew.
you got
a
10
paint
days
crew.
from the moment the car arrives. You got 10 days to build it, have it done, and it better be ready for reveal.
Okay, and that includes filming, shooting lines.
That's shooting lines, filming
Retakes.
the show, doing the car. You have to do it all at the same time.
Uh-huh.
So like paint and body would get like 5 days,
Uh-huh.
and then the car would come to me and I'd get 5 days. For every day that you were late, I was always told this. It was a $50,000 fine per day
Oh, wow.
from MTV to Galpin, because they're paying a camera crew to be there on this date for a reveal, and they're getting paid regardless.
Right.
Because for the reveals, they brought in the big guns.
Mm-hmm.
The camera guy named Sandman, he does the Great Race and all those big shows.
Right.
So they brought in a lot of the big people that only do an exhibit. I mean, of course, you got exhibit showing up.
Sure.
And he's getting paid.
Yeah.
So if he shows up for the reveal and the car ain't done,
Yeah.
he's getting paid anyway. So
Right.
MTV is going to fine you every day $50,000
Right.
that you don't have that car done. So it's really not an option.
Yeah.
It's got to get done.
So how many teams? You've got a lot of people.
You got the upholstery team, the body team, the paint team, and the fabrication team. Which
Okay.
the fabrication team consisted of basically me, Jason Ewing, and Mad Mike. I mean,
Okay.
That was pretty much the fab team as far as electronics and doing everything we're going to do. The upholstery team was there was 3 or 4 guys that did upholstery. The body shop, there was another 3 or 4 guys that did body shop. Paint
Right.
was another 3 or 4 guys that did paint. So.
And how much of it is actually doing lines versus actually getting the work done? Is that like
I
shooting some?
probably spent 30-40% of the time doing lines.
Okay.
So, I mean, my work hours I was averaging about 110 hours a week. That's what I worked.
Yeah.
because I would go in, spend 8-10 hours building a car, 2-3 hours doing lines, but then I also built cars for Galpin. So I worked for Galpin as their customizer. So like Sinbad, he wanted his son's car done. I have to go up front after I'm done filming Pimp My Ride and build Sinbad's son's car. Or
Okay.
Slash from Guns N' Roses, Aston Martin. I mean, just, so I got double.
Yeah, just because you're filming a show isn't an excuse to not take care of Sinbad.
Yeah, because I was collecting 2 paychecks, so you know.
Right.
You got to work for Galvin if you're going to be on the show, so I kind of got stuck doing both.
Interesting.
And like the tattoo parlor,
Yeah.
I built the first mobile tattoo parlor ever. That's where I got my tattoos. I got my tattoos out of the back of that at the LA
Okay.
Auto Show. That was my first project I built there. It was out of a Mazda.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot of cars that I built that weren't on Pimp My Ride that I was building also while I was doing Pimping Ride. So,
Okay. So you did there was a couple car computer installs on Pimp My Ride. Did you do any of the stuff with
Yeah, we did actually in the, I believe it's a Ford Taurus, the bear episode where I actually fight a bear. And by the way, I'm going to point out here, when you watch the show and you say how cheesy it is, right, the demographic, now, I know you're probably going to ask this question, but I got to throw this out there before.
Okay. All right.
Is 12 to 18 years old, okay? They paid the bills. So when I say, you know, look at this tomato, and you want to see Pimp My Ride Cabe say it, now I'm going to show you this tomato. That's why. 12-year-olds don't want to hear a grumpy old guy talking about a car. So I don't talk like that. None of us do. Like Mad Mike looks like someone's, you know, kicking him in the testicles when he's talking. He's actually a cool guy. He doesn't talk like that. They make you talk like that. I mean, trust me, it took them, my first day on camera, it was like 2 hours of them making me say the same thing over, and I'm like, what am I doing wrong? As soon as I started talking almost girly, they were like, there you go. I'm like, what? So that's the demographic. So on the episode where I'm fighting the bear, yeah, it's 12, 18, like to see me wrestle a bear, that has a full in-blown PC. We did 2 terabytes inside there, did a Mac laptop in the back, linked it to a touchscreen in the front. Also, I believe she got the Stargate PC, which was made by, I believe it's Zentech. Yeah, Zentech makes that PC.
Yeah, Zentech changed their name for some reason.
Yeah, it was Stargate Mobile, you know, this
Right.
whole industrial thing, you throw it on the ground and
Yeah,
everything. And so that we did that on Pimp My Ride. There were a few other ones we did, but it didn't get any exposure because really to film a car PC is basically filming a TV.
Right.
Ooh, look at the LCD. I mean, that's about all you can do, so it's not real exciting.
Unless you get into the geek component.
Yeah, and the
It's
12-year-olds are gone at that point. Now we've
Yeah,
lost
right.
our demographic.
Right.
On Rock the Boat, we did PCs like 4 boats and actually used centrifuge.
Okay.
And the Marine boat we built for the Marine Force Recon, and they were telling me that I forgot all about even using. I remember I'd heard of them before when I use them now, and that's why, because I used them on Rock the Boat on that. And then the Arc Audio boat, the loudest boat in the world. It's also PC based because no radio in the world can handle it. It's so loud, it'll destroy it.
Yeah.
So surprisingly, the hard drive didn't collapse, but it's running on full
Yeah, a lot of
PC.
people have that questions on our forum about, like, you know, we're putting in all these subwoofers, and are we going to have our hard drive die? And
I can tell you
everyone
right-
seems to be pretty happy with.
I can say my computer sits 2 inches away from 215s.
Yeah.
And I did that on purpose. I wanted to see because I don't want to, you know, do this for customers.
Right.
And I wanted to see, and I've been beating it for 5 months, and I'm just using the standard 160 gig, so I have a hard drive and I have no problems. So if it can take that, I'm pretty confident it's gonna be all right.
Thanks a lot for coming out and talking to us and bringing
no
your demo
problem.
car out and
Yep.
all that good stuff.